Welcome back, guys, to Football Dynasties. I am your host, Dell. Week 1 is in the books. We got a lot to talk about, so let's just dive right in. All right, let's start with Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football leads me to believe that I am overreacting, but the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl. So, the 49ers looked really good, especially against that Jets defense, who we all feel and think, it's one of the best in the NFL, and they manhandled them. So I'm not sure what went down, if it was a scheme thing or what was it, but the 49ers dominated. The only positives I saw for the Jets, fantasy-wise, was that Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson is probably going to work out for him. He's finally got some QB1 play. That first quarter, halfway through the second quarter, it looked really good. Breece Hall, 21 touches. So I think that Jets offense, for fantasy purposes, is going to get you the points that we want. As long as Breece Hall keeps getting over 20 touches, I think we'll be good there. Garrett Wilson finally having a quarterback is going to help him out. Possibly, top 10 finish is what I'm looking at as of right now, maybe even higher. But that's what I liked about the Jets offense, at least that first quarter, halfway through the second. The 49ers, though, book them. NFC Championship, at least. I mean, no McCaffrey, and they come out and they look the way they did on offense against the Jets defense that is highly ranked. Just leads me to believe that the 49ers they're in for business this year, so we got to look out for them. All right, Sunday Night Football. Cooper Kupps, 21 targets, 14 catches, 110 yards, 1 TD. I mean, if you ever had your doubts about Cooper Kupps, I don't know why we would. But for those of us that did, including myself, 21 targets. Closest receiver was 12 targets for the rest of the week. So that kind of tells you at Stafford, if Puka is out, Cooper Kupps. All day, every play. Puka's out for the next 4 games. Knee issue. Re-aggravated what he had injured in training camp. Kind of sucks because a lot of us took Puka in the first couple of rounds. So now you're going to have to find a way to kind of get through that. Puka still looked good, though, at the start of the game while he was in. But as of right now, just go get Robinson if you can, if he's still available in your league. That can kind of get you through that. But if you're a Cooper Kupps manager, congratulations. It looks like you got yourself the number 1 receiver again, if all things keep going the same way. The next thing I want to talk about is Friday Night Football. Yeah, Friday Night Football. We're going to get a lot of that stuff this year. Saquon Barkley. I mean, he was just doing work behind that Philly O-line, man. I know they're saying that the Giants, are going to be regretting leaving him. I mean, I'm sure they do. But what they're building on their team, even if Saquon would have stayed there, he wouldn't have had the performance he just had with Philadelphia. Philly just has a way better offensive line. That team and as a whole, they're in a whole other situation at this point. Their offensive line works. The Giants do not. So keeping Saquon as a Giant would have just been detrimental to Saquon. So good for them for letting him go. But hey, Philadelphia, you got yourself a number 1 running back. And Saquon, he's going to keep doing work. That Philly offense altogether, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, they all had good games. So let's just anticipate Philly having probably a top 5 offense this year. Their defense didn't look that great either, though. They gave up a lot of points to the Packers. So maybe on the defensive end, they're going to have to get a little bit better, especially in close games, if they want to make it deep into the playoffs. But for fantasy purposes, that offense, I think you're good with whoever you have. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. I think they're going to have a high-powered offense. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Man, the hometown Redbirds, they should have took that game. Set up 17-0. They should have won. But Josh Allen just doing Josh Allen things. And for any of us who doubted Josh Allen that he would take a step back this season, it's looking like after week 1, we're all fools. I mean, he still had a fumble, so he still had a turnover, so he's still leading that. But, I mean, just the way he plays, man. For fantasy, I'm pretty sure he was the number 1 in fantasy for QBs in week 1. So he's just going to keep doing work. He's going to keep going. So if you got him, you keep playing him, obviously. His wide receiving core, though, it's going to be probably just pick and choose who's right in the hot hand. I mean, he distributed the ball relatively well, especially through and through. Keon Coleman had some nice moments there, the rookie. Kincaid was kind of shut down, which was surprising. I thought for sure he would kind of be the focal point of the passing offense, especially at the start of the season, because he's got a rookie. Curtis Samuel showed up a little bit. So again, big distribution. Used all four or five receivers that he had. So just Josh Allen on that offense is good. James Cook is probably going to be your best bet for high fantasy. So we got Josh Allen going there, and James Cook. That's what I'm taking from Buffalo. Jaden Daniels, man, oh man, Jaden Daniels. I passed on Jaden Daniels because I had the first 5 picks in our draft, and I took Caleb Williams, thinking bigger body. Jaden Daniels, smaller body. But for fantasy purposes, I talked about it all off season, saying how I was going to take Jaden Daniels, and I bamboozled myself by not taking Jaden Daniels, and now I'm going to pay the price for it. Jaden Daniels had 38 fantasy points in our sleeper. That kid, if he can get his passing game down to just 60% completion percentage, he is going to be a monster. 88 yards on the ground, 2 TDs on the ground, no passing TD, and he was still able to put up the numbers that he did. So if he stays healthy, I look for Jaden Daniels to finish as a top 5 fantasy QB for sure. The rookie's going to have a great season. And yeah, I'm just sad that I basically took Brock Bowers, Caleb. I mean, I did get Marvin and Neighbors, but I should have taken Jaden Daniels as my QB1. But oh well. Things happen. It is what it is. All right, we move on. Joe Mixon, Houston Texans. Oh boy. I did not see this coming. That man had 30 carries for 159 yards and a TD. If you got Joe Mixon, you do not trade him. I don't care how old he is. I think he's going on to 29, 30. You keep Joe Mixon and you ride that horse until it is no longer going. I mean, this dude, you want to talk about a workhorse? Man, the Bengals are probably the ones that I would say are just beating themselves up over this. Joe Mixon, such a good running back for fantasy. I know he's up there in age, but I mean, he's continuing to do this. It's going to help that Houston offense. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, they were able to still feed. Diggs got to capitalize on that, and he got the touchdowns, which is awesome for him. I still stand that you don't start Stephon Diggs in week 1 just because a total of 33 yards, but he had the touchdowns. Nico over 80, Tank Dell over 80, so I still expect them to have the bigger games for the Houston Texans. The New England Patriots beat Smokin' Joe and the Bengals. Now, I can't put all the blame on Smokin' Joe. He had a couple of drives where he was going down the field and his skilled players just dropped the ball. Literally dropped the ball. Tight end Eric All just fumbles it at the 2-yard line. On special teams, that punt, that was fumbled. So a lot of people are trying to say, Joe had a bad game. I mean, statistically, yeah, it looked like he had a bad game, but if you were watching that, he was moving the ball, and the skill players just were not helping him. They just were not helping him, giving him a chance. They play the Chiefs in week 2. Not sure if it's going to get any better for the Bengals going into week 2. But the Bengals and the Chiefs, they always play each other tough. Both of those teams know that going down to the end of the season, this game could mean a lot, especially for seeding purposes. Jamar Chase, he looked okay, limited for sure because he sat out. I think in week 2 he's going to play a lot more, so we'll see how that goes for them. Let's take a quick break and we'll be back to cover the other half of week 1. All right, guys, we're back. The San Diego Superchargers. It's like LA Chargers. Sucks that I have to say that. I miss my Chargers not being in San Diego. Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. Now, I said this in our waiver wire podcast. J.K. Dobbins, you want to pick him up for sure. Is it going to be a similar backfield to the Lions' backfield as far as fantasy points? Potentially. It's looking like the Chargers are definitely going to be a run-first team, and they're definitely going to ride the hot hand. But I can see Gus Edwards and both J.K. Dobbins getting more than 10 to 15 fantasy points every week. I see them kind of roughly around, 50, 60 yards each, and then probably a touchdown here and there. Not like the Lions running backs. Obviously, those guys, they just put up big numbers. That offense is explosive. But that's kind of the only comp that I really have right now going as far as like a double running back by committee there. So I got to use the Lions as an example. And the Chargers, there was a lot of talk in the offseason about how Harbaugh's going to run. They gave Herbert the opportunity. The offensive line in the middle just couldn't give him enough time for him to get some more explosive plays. Josh Palmer had some drops. Quentin Johnston actually looked a little bit better. So there's potential there. Obviously, Ladd McConkey, he's what sticks out to me. He's definitely looking like he's going to be the number 1 pass option. We had a lot of tight ends out there kind of in the mix. So I'm looking at this Chargers offense as a run-first team for sure. And with Herbert kind of sprinkling a couple of big plays here and there. But I think as the year progresses, Herbert's going to have a lot more time with the play action, and he's going to destroy defenses. I am definitely being biased because I am a big Chargers guy, so let's go Herbert, let's go Bolts. 1-0, beat the Raiders, baby. So let's just talk about the Lions Sunday Night Football again. Let's touch back now on them. Jameson Williams, man, that kid is fast, but he is also super skinny. I mean, he got hit a couple of times, and I was like, whoa, he's already limping. He's really skinny guy, but he is fast. Fast. Not Xavier Worthy fast, but he's fast. I look for Jameson Williams to probably be the number 2, number 3 target de facto. Sam Laporta, low numbers for him in week 1, but that's all right. I think just how the week is going to progress, the season's going to progress. Laporta, he'll start to get his numbers. Everyone tries to plug in their guys in the first couple of weeks just to kind of see how it is looking going forward. So I see that Jameson Williams is a good option. He's definitely going to be a high risk, high reward, though. He's probably going to have just big games, and then he's going to give you games where he's got 2 to 3 catches, 30 yards, more than likely. But he definitely has that big breakout, 80-yard, 1 TD, 3 reception kind of game in the bag. I just don't know how much I want to bank on that. So for me right now, he's staying on the bench until I see a little bit more consistency. Let's talk Kenneth Walker. Man, that guy had a big game, but he left in the 4th with an abdomen injury. Not sure how serious it is. I've been kind of trying to follow some of the reports so far. They're just saying he's week to week. He should be ready to go in week 2. But Kenneth Walker looked amazing. Zach Charbonnet, though, shout out to him. He got his touchdown. Last year, there was a lot of talk about how Charbonnet was going to take a few snaps from him. It didn't happen right out of the gate. But now looking at it, they're definitely looking like another team that's going to have 2 solid running backs going forward. So let's just hope for Kenneth Walker owners. Let's get him back in and 100%. Who said that Mike Evans was done? I'm going to raise my hand. I did. 10 straight years for 1,000 receiving yards. Looking like he's going to have another one. He's not slowing down. Very, very positive for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that he's still looking the way he is. I also touched on our waiver wire podcast about Jalen McMillan. I think they're going to have a solid 3 wide receivers. Godwin looked really good again. If they can get all 3 of these guys involved, man, watch out. Rachaad White, just another workhorse there. Lots of touches in that first half. Slowed down a little bit in the second half. Bucky Irving came in and kind of helped out a little bit, so that's going to be a good pickup for you guys if you can, or if you already have him, stick to him. He's probably going to be a bench player for a few more weeks until we see more. But if Rachaad White were to go down, Bucky Irving, you want to have him on the bench. I've got him stashed in my bench ready to go if that happens, but I also have Rachaad White, so I'm kind of covered there. Let's talk about the rookie wide receivers a little bit, because I said it was going to be the headlines of rookie wide receivers. We're going to dominate week 1. Wasn't necessarily the case, but a lot of them did really well. Brian Thomas Jr., he got a touchdown. McMillan, he got his touchdown. Ladd McConkey got his touchdown. So I still think it was a good week for rookie wide receivers, you know. Obviously, it wasn't for my man Marvin, because 1 catch for 4 yards, that's just not going to cut it. Kyler's got to look to Marvin just a little bit more. I mean, just force feed him the ball, dude. He was wide open on quite a few plays. There was one where he was wide open down the right side in the end zone. So just feed him, man. You guys got to get this guy the ball. He's got to be involved in your offense just so that we can see the movement, get more people switched over to his side. It looked like they were double covering him a little bit more, but it also looked like Kyler was just not really trying to look both ways. He was kind of first read and then he was out. He was under pressure a lot in that game, in that second half, so I can kind of see why Marvin was limited. But you got to feed this guy the ball, man. However, whatever you have to do, get him involved. The Giants got Malik Neighbors involved. The Chargers got Ladd McConkey involved. Obviously, we saw Xavier Worthy with the Chiefs. He was involved, have his own set of plays. But they got to have their own set of plays for Marvin just to get him involved. So let's go over kind of some of the snap percentages for these guys to give you a idea going forward as to how many of these guys do you really want to still keep playing. So Ladd McConkey, he was on the field 67% of the time, which is really good. Brian Thomas, 77%. That's awesome. He's definitely listed as one of their starters. Malik Neighbors, 100%. I still believe Malik's going to have better numbers than Marvin probably this year, just because he's going to be fed pretty much every game. And being on the field for 100% of the snaps tells me that they're going to lean on this guy a lot. Keon Coleman for the Bills, 73%. So maybe we can see him start having those 80, 90-yard games here soon. Leggett, 59%. He was definitely the guy I was rooting for the most in week 1 to see how explosive he can be. But that Panthers offense is just going to have a rough go just by the looks of it. I mean, you know, they were only able to put up 10 points. Bryce Young doesn't look any different than he did in week 1 or in his first year. So kind of scared for anybody that's got Panthers guys. Just keep Jonathan Brooks on the back burner. He might be the fantasy go-to guy when he gets back, 4 to 6 weeks for him. Rome Odunze, he was out there 77% of the snaps, but he is now undergoing an MRI for his knee. Hopefully everything comes out negative. Haven't really heard much else. But yeah, I'm hoping he's back because I got him on my fantasy team as well for Dynasty, and we need those guys back. And Caleb, please throw for more than 94 yards, man. We need it. I need it. The Bears need it. Defense isn't going to win it all for us or for you guys. Thanks for listening, guys. This is our first official big podcast. I'm excited. Week 2 already here. We got ourselves a Thursday night game. Bills, Dolphins, Prime Video. Should be a great game. Hopefully our boy the Cheetah's back. Monday Night Football, Falcons, Eagles. Looking forward to that one. What else do we have? Let's see. Chargers should beat the Panthers. We'll see. Sunday Night Football, you got the Bears against the Texans. That's going to be a fun game to watch. The Bengals-Chiefs game. Always exciting to watch those two teams go at it. Hopefully the Jets can bounce back for the Titans. Tampa Bay at Detroit. That looks like it's going to be a fun, high-scoring game. The Saints at the Cowboys. I'm circling that one because I know the Saints put up the points against the Panthers in week 1. But I'm interested to see what they can do with the Cowboys, or if the Cowboys are just going to blow them out. Because if the Cowboys turn around and blow them out, that means watch out for the Cowboys this year, right? They just blew out Cleveland in their home and just blew them out. They did what no team could do last year. Over 100 rushing yards, scored over, I think the Browns only were like 15, 16 points that they were giving up last year, and they gave up 30 plus to the Cowboys already in week 1. Looking forward to seeing the Giants play the Commanders. Just get another look at Jaden Daniels. Malik Neighbors probably going to have a big game there. So week 2, guys. Yeah, week 2 is already here. It's already Wednesday. We're already one day away. And we got ourselves some football again. So looking forward to that. Like, follow, subscribe, guys. Any feedback in the comments, please. It's all welcome. We'll see you guys next week.